The $130 million target is on the move. 15 PLZ-05 howitzers, a TORM M2, and a Ka-52 guarding the flank, heading west of Moscow toward Kharkiv. But Kyiv's AI is already drawing a grid. In this video, see how a phantom swarm of 25 FPV drones, fed by Starlink and a live ISR net, turned Russia's push to restore artillery into a 72-hour command blackout. You'll get the cat-and-mouse EW sequence, the Echot trap that ghosted an Orlan, and the 6-second cascade that set the convoy off like a fuse. Understand the system that beats hardware. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. A convoy worth more than a small air wing rolls at dusk. The math should favor the expensive side. So why does a cheaper swarm get to pick the hour and the angle? Russia's play is simple: restore long-arm fire. 15 PLZ-05 howitzers to reach deep, a TORM M2 to guard the bubble, a Ka-52 to sweep the edges. That package reopens pressure lanes toward Kharkiv by pushing Ukrainian infantry and supply lines back under a wider arc of shells. Move the tubes forward, extend the reach, then hold ground with threat of quick strikes. They don't blunder. The column hugs forest breaks, staggers its pace, and masks dust. The TORM M2 clips a Switchblade 300 on first contact. An Orlan scouts ahead, steady and high. On paper, the air screen wins the exchange and buys the convoy time. But Ukraine isn't hunting for a duel. It builds a net. Low-power ground sensors cue movement on dirt spurs and rail cuts. Public cams near crossings feed silent snapshots. Starlink pipes those threads to a fusion node in Kyiv that turns them into heat maps, grids of likely rest points, choke points, and timings. The output isn't a pretty picture. It's a schedule. The draw for Russia is real. PLZ-05s bring 155 mm class punch, a range envelope that can touch brigade rear nodes, and enough rate of fire to pound a sector into silence. 15 tubes shift tempo, faster fire missions, quicker suppression, smoother leapfrogs. That changes how often Ukrainian units can move, resupply, or even talk. Layer cost on top. Roughly $2.5 million per gun. Around $25 million for a TORM M2. About $16 million for a Ka-52. Hardware density like that should deter a cheap attack by sheer risk. That's the bet, price as protection. Ukraine answers with a trick called the Echot trap. Record control frequency mimicry rides the Orlan's habits, echoes its handshake, and feeds it a false ground. The drone believes it sees movement where none exists, and misses what matters. The TOR wins first contact. But the Orlan now paints ghosts. That shifts spacing. It stretches halts. Drivers wait for threats that aren't there and miss the ones that are. Minutes bleed out of the plan. Ukraine doesn't chase kills. It corrupts the clock. Halts stack inside a mapped choke. The window opens. With the screen dulled and the timetable exposed, the grid in Kyiv moves from watching to setting a hit time. 25 drones. One brain. No chatter. The first probe takes the bait and dies fast to TOR missiles. Operators on the Russian side settle in, sure the next wave will shout on the air and rush straight down the same lane. They clamp radios, split sectors, and wait for more loud targets. But then Ukraine cuts the volume. The phantom swarm stalks in silence. Low-power bursts pass only when needed. Waypoints hand off like relay batons. Visual fiducials keep spacing and alignment without long calls. The guiding grid from Kyiv prunes routes in real time, shedding risk, feeding angles, and pushing the swarm toward the choke. Meanwhile the Echot trap pays out. The Orlan reads ghosts. It calls movement where the ground is empty. The TOR slews to false sectors and wastes precious traverse. The Ka-52 runs racetracks that solve nothing and burns fuel while the real threat slides under the arc. Here's how the swarm thinks. Each drone carries a light autonomy stack. It flags shapes, counts axles, and matches silhouettes to a simple roster: comms van, EW truck, fuel tender, prime mover, radar face. A kill matrix pairs each munition to a specific bay or panel so the blast delivers a known effect. No big AI speech. Just clean rules, short loops, and fast locks. Timing is the weapon. Hit stack inside a 6 to 10 second window. That outruns human reaction, jams crew coordination, and beats sensor fusion reset. It's like pulling fuses along a power strip from the far end toward the switch. By the time hands move, the strip is dark. Strike logic sets the ladder. First, comms and EW. Then fuel. Then the howitzer prime movers. Then the TOR's radar face. The Ka-52 pad or refuel point waits until the grid shows it fixed and busy. Each step strips a layer of sight or reach, and the next blow lands before the last alarm finishes. Then the chain reaction. Micro-shaped charges pierce tanks. Diesel turns to fine mist and flashes. Wiring looms slump. Power buses trip. Optics frost. Radios cough. Sensor blackouts ripple outward for minutes, then hours, and no one trusts the picture. The convoy is not only wrecked. The sector's C2 sputters for 72 hours. A logistics fix turns into a local map shift. With the artery cut, ground units push the seam around Kyiv's logistics yard. Watch how the map bends when timing dies. One convoy dies, and the line bends. That's the claim. Here's why the ground moved near Kyiv yard. Pull 15 long-range tubes off the board and the map loses reach. Fewer arcs cover fewer roads. Supply runs that once hugged the edges now need wider detours. With the TOR gone, helicopters weigh every lift against higher risk and shorter loiter. That slows ammo shuttles, slows medevac, and crimps the tempo Russia hoped to restore. Russia tries a patch. Spetsnaz push a thin screen to hold crossings and bluff a perimeter. Iskander shots crack the air to warn off deeper pushes. Ad hoc air defense appears in the gaps, manpads on truck beds, gun trucks in tree lines. It buys hours, not control. The holes still widen after dark. Ukraine answers with an exploitation package built for speed, smoke, and cut lines. Smoke banks hide the first thrusts. Motorized infantry on bikes and ATVs knife past the obvious lanes, hit checkpoints from the rear, and break overwatch posts. Mechanized elements drive behind them, PT-91s and carriers, while short-burst FPV overwatch tags movers on the interior roads and calls quick cuts. Routes fold, pockets form, and the yard's feeders clog. The rail overpass is the key. They breach it with parallel lanes to avoid single-point failure. Drones feed lane assurance, live checks for mines, debris, and stalled vehicles. Mobile command nodes leapfrog every few hundred meters, keeping orders fresh as units pass through the choke without stacking. Sustainment holds the push together. Medical robots crawl into broken sheds and culverts, stabilize the down, and hand off at casualty points. Mobile comms vans roll up, lift masts, and pull blue side links back online while the red side net stutters. The pace holds even when fire snaps. There's a cost that runs past the map. Fires and smoke bleed into border towns. Civilian grids flicker as EW spills and cables burn. Families move at night across small roads with no lights. Tech solves the tactical problem and leaves a moral weight, and you feel it in the quiet after the guns dip. Then the math takes over. With C2 degraded, counter-battery windows stretch from minutes to hours. Ukraine plays to a day-night rhythm, probe in light, cut at dusk, move at first dark. By the third night, fresh lines print. Russian units pull back from the yard and the interior roads they can no longer cover. If you want the mindset that beats hardware, data fusion, timing, and restraint, subscribe. Comment your choice below, invest in more tubes, or smarter nets. Hardware projects power. Data decides where it dies. Break the enemy's clock, timing and comms, and you redraw ground truth. You saw how delay beats armor. You felt how a quiet net can blind a louder gun line. That's the play that writes the map. What would you do when cost and speed collide? Subscribe and join a community that seeks to understand the realities of modern conflict. Comment your choice below, more armor, or more algorithms. Next, we dissect the counter to the swarm, layered decoys, hardened wiring, smarter radar cues, and tactics to close the 6-second window before a cascade starts.